The largest school district in Central Texas faces new legal action from the state over allegations that it allowed so-called critical race theory to be taught in its classrooms.
In this new lawsuit, the Attorney General's office claims Austin ISD is violating a state law prohibiting public schools from teaching about so-called critical race theory. CRT is the core idea that racism isn't the result of individual prejudice, but something embedded in legal systems and processes. State law doesn't use that specific phrase, but it does say if teachers discuss a widely debated or controversial issue, they must do it objectively and in a manner free from political bias. Now, the AG's office's claims against AISD are tied to an undercover video shot in 2022 by a conservative media outlet called Accuracy in Media. In it, the district's former equity officer, Dr. Stephanie Hawley, talks about AISD's use of instructional materials from a platform called Nucella, saying it helps the district stay out of trouble with the legislature. Nucella has ties to the 1619 Project, which examines the role of slavery in American history and its lasting impacts on daily life. The AG's office says the 1619 Project is banned in Texas. A quick note, Dr. Hawley retired from AISD last month. This filing starts the process of deposing AISD leaders to see if there's an unwritten policy about CRT in classrooms. This is not the first time the state's taken legal action against a public school district over CRT. In March, the AG's office sued Coppell ISD in North Texas, citing an undercover video posted by that same group. In court documents, Coppell ISD officials said that video was 2 years old and was, quote, heavily edited and manipulated to be grossly misleading, end quote.
Now, critical race theory is an academic concept that explores how racism in America has shaped public policy, suggesting racism isn't solely the result of personal prejudice, but is embedded in legal systems and policy. Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill banning CRT in Texas public schools back in 2021. That law does not specifically mention critical race theory in the language of the bill, but stems from a national debate on how race and racism are taught in school.
Paxton is accusing Austin ISD of teaching material linked to the 1619 Project, which underscores the consequences of slavery in the U.S. and the contributions of Black Americans. Paxton says that's banned in Texas.
The Attorney General is trying to show that the state is serious in its efforts to stamp out what it deems to be critical race theory, or CRT.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is making headlines in Austin this morning after announcing he's taking steps to start deposing Austin ISD Superintendent Matias Segura and the Board of Trustees after accusing the district of teaching critical race theory.
This is a way for the Attorney General to get in on the act and show that he is trying to enforce the state's laws.
In a statement, Paxton says the investigation comes after his office was made aware of an Austin ISD official making statements implying they were teaching material linked to the 1619 Project, which is banned under state law. No concrete evidence has been presented to support the claim.
I think that's the point of the depositions. Is it a witch hunt? Is it a process?
Like when the Attorney General says he wants to launch these depositions, what does that mean?
It means they're going to be calling in individuals to ask them a series of questions in an interview to try to figure out what is taking place in the classroom.
Antonio Ingram II with the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund says the action from Ken Paxton is unheard of.
So this is an unprecedented encroachment into this academic space for students who are just trying to learn and educators who are just trying to teach.
Paxton says, quote, it is outrageous that Austin ISD officials think they can ignore state law to put woke indoctrination in Texas classrooms, end quote.
You're really attacking what is honestly a remediation of past censorship.
The Attorney General made it clear in his release today he intends to make sure the state law is enforced.
Our hidden camera investigation into public education takes us to Austin, Texas.
This video and undercover interview by a conservative nonprofit group, Accuracy in Media, led to Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's investigation into Austin ISD.
For critical race theory, for example, that has been decided that we're not allowed to teach.
Yes.
However, I think that there are options. Our district is really big on inclusivity.
Paxton is accusing the district of teaching critical race theory, a concept that looks at how race relations shape our current social, cultural, and legal world in modern day.
It is illegal,
which Texas lawmakers banned 4 years ago. In this court document, the AG's office cites Accuracy in Media's undercover interviews with diversity and equity employees back in 2021 and 2022.
They ignore the law in Texas by using a classroom service called Newzilla.
Newzilla, our progressive teachers are using with the young, our K through 3 folks, because it's multiple perspectives. It lets us stay out of trouble with the legislature.
The AG's office has an issue with AISD using resources to find what they call ways around state law. Critical race theory, though, is typically not taught before higher education, one expert tells me.
It's taught to third-year law students, and it is not something that's taught in K through 12. One of the problems we've had is a lot of people have had a hard time defining what critical race theory is, and they will take something that they believe is undermining at least their ideology of how they think America is and call it critical race theory.
The entire Austin School Board is named in the court document. Paxton wants to depose them and decide what the next legal steps will be. In a statement, Paxton said, quote, "I will continue to work tirelessly to ensure the Texas school officials are focused on helping students receive a world-class education, not subject them to liberal anti-American ideology." And we reported on other undercover interviews by Accuracy in Media, leading the Attorney General to investigate a number of other school districts. That includes Hutto and Richardson ISD. Those investigations were related to transgender youth and school athletic policies. And then Coppell ISD in the Dallas area is accused of teaching critical race theory, just like Austin ISD. Jayla spoke with the nonprofit's president.
What is your response directly to the critics who are critical of the way that you guys are going about sort of getting this information from school districts?
I think it's great that police officers wear body cameras. It's better for them and better for the public. I wish politicians and bureaucrats wore body cameras. The next best thing is a hidden camera investigative journalist.
And the president told Jayla they're doing more undercover interviews all over the country. You can hear more of their conversation online right now at KXAN.com.
The Austin Independent School District is ending its Pride Week tomorrow with a Pride Out party in the park. The district says the event is celebrating LGBTQ+ students, staff, and families and creating a safe and supportive environment there. There will be live music, a drag show, activities for all ages. It'll be going on from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at East Side Early College High School. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says Austin ISD's Pride Week breaks the law in Texas. In a tweet this week, Paxton said the Texas legislature has made it clear that when it comes to sex education, parents, not school districts, are in charge. He also sent a letter to AISD Superintendent Dr. Stephanie Elizalde saying the district is hosting these events without parental consent and that objecting parents can file grievances with both the school board and the Texas Education Agency.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton accusing the Austin Independent School District of violating state law by hosting its annual Pride Week. That law, Jonathan Covey of Texas Values helped pass.
The Texas legislature passed a law last session, and part of this was to eliminate confusion for Texas families by requiring written permission from a parent or a legal guardian before a student can attend a human sexuality class.
AISD Chief of Communications Jason Stanford has a different take.
It might shock your viewers to know that the Attorney General, who's currently under FBI investigation, has a loose grasp of the law. He has inaccurately conflated sex education with pride. Pride is about celebrating who you are. Sex education, remarkably different. Pride is about celebrating and accepting who you are, not what you do with yourself.
Stanford says Pride Week has been celebrated at AISD for more than a decade.
Anytime a school endorses something, it's making an impression on students. And anytime a school facilitates students learning through discussions or through projects or through demonstrations, that's all teaching.
Political analyst Brian Smith attributing Paxton's recent interest to his runoff.
We see that parental rights in education is now becoming a big issue. in states like Florida. And what Paxton believes is he can make it an issue here in Texas and a winning issue for him.
The lightning rod issue drawing attention not only to Paxton, but AISD schools. Stanford says Doss Elementary staff received death threats and had their personal information released online ahead of Wednesday's Pride Parade.
The principal had to move that parade indoors to ensure that the kids would be protected from this. There is a lot of political noise going on about us just trying to say everyone should love each other. And in Austin, that's not that radical. I don't know why the politicians don't get it.